Wow, thank you. Thank you. Welcome to the Heart of Art with Elisa Brown. And this show is going live to Comcast Channel 56 right now, and also to being streamed to consciousevolutionmedia.com and on Colorado Public Television Channel 12. So welcome, everybody. And I'd like to introduce Elisa Brown. She's a beautiful and wonderful singer. And she goes around the world and sings beautiful songs that opens people's hearts. And I can't think of anything to do on this planet than that. And she does it very well. Do you know how I know?
No.
Because as soon as you start singing, I start vibrating.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well,
thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. And thanks all of you for being here today for this premiere episode of The Heart of Art. The heart of art for me is art that intentionally draws upon the inspiring qualities that reside in the human heart. And those are compassion, kindness, understanding, tolerance, and respect. For the last year and a half, I've been working to develop a new theatrical production that cultivates these wonderful qualities and draws upon the almost magical ability of music, movement, the spoken word, and beautiful landscapes to separate the barriers that break us apart and keep us apart from one another. Now, this story of hope, healing, and connection is one that I'm co-creating with a fabulous team of artists, two of whom are here in the studio audience today. Grammy Award-winning producer Barry Goldstein and celebrated choreographer Gabriel Chajnik. Will also be joined by performance artist Marla Mace and our audiovisual guru, Mark Smith, later on in the program. Now, the story of Shine On New World is a familial story with a universal appeal. It's a story of a half-brother and sister who are abandoned by their mother at a very early age. And they are separated and grow up worlds apart. The brother finds love and forgiveness and a life through a career in music. But the sister's very bitter and grows up to become hard and closes her heart. So fast forward and imagine what happens when these two siblings meet up later in life and the sister accepts the brother's invitation to travel the globe researching different musical genres and cultures. She accepts this journey, but little does she know it's actually a sacred voyage retracing the steps of the mother who abandoned them. Now, this story is the wonderful work of an award-winning playwright by the name of Dana Slamp. And the best part is it has a singing ghost, and that would be me. So I'd like to sing a hauntingly beautiful story from Shine On New World from Act 1 that I co-arranged with Barry Goldstein. It's called Cullens of Rum. Cullens are cliffs, and Rum is an island off of the coast of Scotland. And this is a song that perfectly expresses our longing to find our home. Now, joining me today on stage is guitarist Simeon Hine, and so this is from Act 1 of Shine On New World, The Cullens of Rum, co-arranged by Barry Goldstein and myself. Soon shall I see thy bright shores in the sunlight, the heather of hill, and the rising of morn. The rolling grey sea mist rose east in the morning to run the wild hills of the Cullens of Rum. Far away seaward thy green hills are love-lit, where runs the hill water of foam to the sea. Like tangle at noontime, like snow wreath in moonlight, as thou who art yearning will yearn it to be. Seaward, my queenland, my youthland, far away seaward, the Cullens of home. And here in my dream time, I'm hearing hill water, the laughter
of streams by the coolings of rum. In the morning to run the wild hills of the Pullens of Rum.
Thank you so very much. Beautiful song from Act 1 of Shine On New World, and it was co-arranged by myself and Barry Goldstein, and I really appreciate Simeon Hine performing with me on stage today. In fact, he's the person who introduced me to this beautiful song. And here today, I have two great friends who are brilliant artists. And one of the reasons why I chose Barry Goldstein, a Grammy Award-winning producer, and Gabriel Chojnik to work with me to collaborate on this creation of Shine On New World was because each of you and every member of the Shine On New World team has clearly demonstrated a commitment to creating works of art that are artistic recipes for peace, health, and well-being. Now, Barry, your career spans everything. You have won a Grammy for producing the Grammy Award-winning track of the, it was the 69 Freedom Special in 2005 that you did with Les Paul. You've produced and provided ambient music for Shirley MacLaine. You write for film, television, top 10 artists. We've worked together. You've worked for classical ballet. And your music is also presented in hospitals. You present at grand rounds, presenting music and musical techniques and mindfulness to help promote wellness. How do you do all of this? This is an incredible accomplishment on your part. So how did you get started? And tell us your story.
Well, it's a long story. It won't be covered in a 1 hour
no,
segment,
100 words or less is fine.
Okay. 100 words or less, Dad bought me a guitar 30 years later. Worked with Les Paul, fast forward. Elisa Brown, here we are. Really, I started out as a music producer and started later on working with the healing aspects of music many years later after that. And now really my focus and intention are bridging the two, the healing aspects of music and moving that into mainstream where we can work with really creating shifts and transformation utilizing music as a healing and transformational tool.
Well, you're actually one of the few people I know who's bridged science with spirituality, bringing it into the mainstream before it was mainstream. So this is what you do. And you were creating, when we were working on the score for Shine On New World, which is a blending of two albums, we did New World, and then you had your album Shine. You were also working on another piece called the Heart Codes. And I know that was on the Grammy nomination ballot for this.
Wasn't nominated, it was actually on the ballot.
On the ballot, okay.
Yes, it was on the ballot this year.
And that is an amazing work that I would like for you to talk about, and talk about the techniques that you used in that are similar to the score for Shine On New World, which is really a musical recipe for hope, healing, and connection.
Sure. Well, the Heart Codes is what it sounds like, and it's really a vibrational and sound vehicle that works with taking people to the center of their heart, utilizing specific frequencies, specific intentions, and really working with coming home to our center, which you talk about the heart of art. Our center is in our heart space. So the Heart Codes works with entrainment, which I can explain. Entrainment is when your internal rhythm syncs to an external rhythm.
So kind of like a John Philip Sousa song, people feel patriotic and they march.
Right, they feel more up. When in this specific instance, bringing the heart to a resting or relaxed state is at 60 beats per minute. So when we reach that state, we really have the ability to move into a parasympathetic state where our body can heal more effectively, where it can repair, it can rejuvenate. So when we bring our essence of our heart down, and we're also working with specific vibrations and frequencies that resonate with the heart center, it brings an awareness to the heart. And that's really what the intention of the Heart Codes is, to allow each one of us to delve into our heart's center.
Well, what I find interesting about what you're saying is I've listened to an awful lot of music, and I find your music to be so enjoyable. I meditate, I do all of these things, but your music is something that I could put on and have a party in the house, and people would feel better. It's not peculiar or odd. It's really quite
Well, thank you, I think.
Yeah. No, it's wonderful because a lot of the stuff that I've listened to, it's lovely and it has a place, but your music really can be used in the car, driving to work. You can, all of your stuff, and you've written for R&B and pop and hip-hop, and you have a dance background, writing for dance music, and for Shine on New World, we created a song called Namaste Fever that's really a dance piece, and it was just a lot of fun. And
It was a lot of fun.
you also have written music for dance with Gabriel Chajnik and
Who?
the good-looking guy over here.
That was amazing to work with Barry. I mean, he's a dear friend, and like working with you, just working with friends makes it easier, makes it smoother.
Yes, it does.
And that's when you can be unguarded and vulnerable and come out with the best stuff. So and we just gonna keep going.
Well, would you talk to me about the creative process of creating a piece? You talk about the felt space and how music gives, actually dance gives form to music, and how you go about this creation, because I want you each to talk about how you create, because it's so important.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. It ties up with what Barry was saying. When I came here for the first time to Denver, actually, I got my first job working for a dance company here in Denver in 1997. So I'm very happy.
Wasn't that the David Taylor?
The David Taylor
that's
dance
wonderful.
company, and we did such a broad range of works, and that was such a great jump from me, from a fresh Juilliard graduate, just to come here and experience and touring and going through, and also coming from Argentina, from Buenos Aires, going to Arizona, go to Wyoming, to Montana, to Golden, Colorado, and it was beautiful. I had a great time.
Well, your background is quite incredible. You have choreographed. Your work has been at Alice Tully Hall. It's been in Washington D.C. I know you've been on off Broadway. You also teach. And then you create these, and you've danced everywhere. So you have this amazing ability to work with artists and dancers. And you've said to me that dancers think with their feet. So what do singers think with?
I don't know. Maybe they don't think. They don't think so. They don't think so much. They just feel, and they just breathe, and beautiful sounds come out of you.
Well,
so and that inspires us to move. Because breath and sound are very connected, and movement. I'm very grateful because I come from a lineage of teachers that are just incredible from Juilliard.
Well, you worked with, you were discovered in Argentina by Maestro Hector Zaraspe. You were just a kid.
Well, yeah. Maestro Zaraspe, was the private coach of Drulf Nureyev and Margot Fontaine. And there I come in Argentina, in Buenos Aires. I was 16, and he says, Gabriel, I think that you should come to America. And he just shows me every day. He's the mentor of my company, my dance company, Transcendence Group in New York. And he shows me every day that simplicity is just the base for compassion. And when you move from that, then movement becomes more genuine, more honest.
Well, I think that probably what worked so well when you worked together to write for one of his pieces was that Crescent and Full was the name of the piece.
That's right. Yeah.
And how did y'all collaborate on that? I mean, you had the music, or you wrote the score, or how did you do that?
Well, I don't know.
It really went back and forth. Initially, we had meetings to really first create what the intention was for each piece, and based on that, I started to sculpt. It really was like sound sculpting, right?
Yeah, it is.
Sculpting the sound, and then Gabrielle would choreograph to that, and then I would go and watch, and we just kept fine-tuning back and forth until we reached that place where...
Yeah, it was beautiful, beautiful. We have clay, and then we both kind of put our hands in it. And the Barry's music is always inspiring, and sometimes you generate a dance from music, and sometimes a thought generates a dance.
Well, now what is this felt space that you're talking about with dancers? You're always talking, when I see you in rehearsal, and you're always talking about the felt space. So what is that?
Well, this ties up with what a lot of my teachers, these mentors that I have. Christine Dakin, the former director of Martha Graham Dance Company, and Bessie Schoenberg and Martha Hill, really amazing people that really helped me tune in into what a dancer is feeling, because then when I can really get into their space, then the audience can also feel it. I can create a vocabulary that can take us out of the intellectual space and move us into a more a space that we can really feel with the performer versus just being a spectator and just an observer. So it becomes more intimate in a way.
Well, you say that dance gives form to music, and you talk about how the dance can express emotion. How does dance do that?
Well, music cannot be seen. Music is the pure unseen, and dance brings the form. So the marriage of the two can really generate something that, like the name of the show, it opens hearts, because you can truly feel it, but not only feel it with your emotions, but feel it in your body, in your skin. Sometimes you watch an amazing performer that is pure beauty, and that performer stops time, and you can just feel it in your skin when you're watching somebody and time just stops.
Well, when I'm working with you, Barry, we've done 2 albums together, the Ave Maria Experience and New World. And when we work together, we always set an intention and to create a journey. And I'm sure, do you do this in all of your work?
I do, yeah, and I think it's really important because music is one of the best carriers of intention and emotion. So we can play music in different languages and people can still understand what it is. So our intentions and our coherence, what we're feeling in our heart when we're working together, goes into that music. And if we're not clear with that and we're aligned with that, then people feel that as well. So intention, coherence, working with harmonics are very important in putting it into the music.
Well, when we work together, it's a funny story. I met Barry years ago, and I'm a classically trained singer, and Barry you're largely self-taught, which is just amazing. I don't know how you do what you do, and you remember everything, and I'm sure your girlfriend doesn't like that, but you'd remember everything.
She has a better memory than I do.
Oh, that's pretty hard to imagine. But in any case, you remember everything, and so when we would work together, I'd bring in these musical scores and write things out, and you would just say, you got to sing it, we got to play it. And we had to create a language of our own.
That's right.
So that it created a particular type of synergy for that's particular to these recordings that we do and when we work together.
Yeah.
And I imagine that you do that with each of your artists to create something special, because your work and your work all have this through line of sincerity. And that's what I notice.
Yeah, what I will say about our work, which is really unique, I really thought about this when we were talking, going over things, and I really thought that ours was about balancing masculine and feminine energy. And sometimes you don't know the intention when you're creating it, but the outcome was really a balance of the Divine Mother and the Divine Father, and the center of that is in the heart.
Well, you have one song that I particularly love, and I know that you brought your guitar, so you probably want to sing today. So it's a great song that you wrote back in, I think, 2005. Was it? It's Through the Eyes of God. Was that on The Moment?
It's on the album The Moment.
The album The Moment, and this song is just gorgeous, and I've incorporated into the musical score for Shine on New World, and I'd like to go and sing it for the folks if you don't mind.
Sounds great.
It's a wonderful song. It's called Through the Eyes of God, and it takes place at the end of Act 2, and it's at the point in the story where the mother realizes what she was looking for all of her life actually resided within her. And so at that moment, the daughter's heart is open to unconditional love, and the mother's ghost is transformed into an angel. So this is really a beautiful song, and it's such a pleasure to sing it with Barry Goldstein. The piece won't have any choreography per se, because it's an intimate moment in the story where the brother and sister are with, actually the character that Barry will be performing. He'll be a shaman, I think, and he'll be telling them about a beautiful story that the mother wrote in her journal. So as they're reading through the mother's journal, these words, I woke up from a dream, I was a blade of grass. And it's when the mother realizes that she was actually in the point of her life where she was looking outside when what she should have done is look inside. So it's an amazing song, and I know that it was inspired by a dream that Barry had. He told me about it because I asked him, what was the inspiration for this? And he said it was a dream that he had, and he heard the melody, and it was as though he'd been singing this melody his entire life. So here we are, Through the Eyes of God, written by Barry Goldstein. It's from Act 2 of Shine On, New World.
I woke up from a dream. I was a blade of grass. I felt a miracle in everything that passed me.
I was the scent within the breeze. I was the blue within the sky. I was the cotton candy clouds. I was everything alive.
And through the eyes of God, I have learned to see that I am everything, and everything is me. And through the breath of God, I have learned to breathe, and I am everything, and everything is me. I am the mist upon the rain. I am the sands upon the shore.
I am the laughter in a child. So it all settles yours.
I am the eagle in its flight.
I am the butterfly's wings.
I am the song within your heart.
And I'm waiting just to see.
Can I hear you say?
And through the eyes of God,
I have learned to see
that I am everything,
and everything is me.
and through the breath of God,
I have learned to breathe. Yes, I have, and I am everything, and breath of God. Through His breath, I have learned to breathe through the eyes of God. I have learned to see that I am everything, and everything is me. Through the eyes of God. Through the eyes of God.
Isn't that a beautiful song? Thanks, Barry. Such a wonderful song, and it's always such a pleasure to sing with Barry Goldstein. We've done a lot together, and I'm really looking forward to doing more. So we talked a little bit about the inspiration behind Through the Eyes of God, and I'd like to talk about that, the dream state and devotion and all of these different things which we've touched upon a little bit. But one of the things that we haven't talked about is when you're a marvelous artist such as the two of you, getting your work out into the world is quite difficult. And how do you juggle being creative, which you're both so profoundly creative, and getting your work out? You have to really be an entrepreneur.
Well,
Yeah,
Go ahead.
a trick question.
I mean, for me, it's really about just being present with it. And every time I do a performance or anytime I'm sharing, making sure that I'm treating it the same way, whether it's for one person or 5,000 people there, to make sure that you're always present, you're always connected to what you want to share. And allow that intention to ripple out, take advantage of the opportunities that come my way, and see where energy flows. Where it's open and expansive, that's where I place my attention. Where it feels constricted, I know it's not right.
And for you?
For me, it's something that it just doesn't come out only from me. I have to work in a team, and I have to be in community. The creative process just leaves us, at least for me, it leaves me very vulnerable. I have this hypersensitivity when I'm in the middle all the time, pretty cuckoo, but but when I'm in studios even more, and I have to really tune in into what the dancer is feeling and tune in into their bodies and make sure that I keep a very safe and very creative environment for them as well and for me. So the work just ripples out from them. So and from the people that are collaborating with me. With Joseph Rodman, like for example, video with Barry when we do a piece together, when a sculptor or a painter or the person that creates the costumes, so that all that energy together, that community ripples out.
Well, you said something about art. You just said artists need a community, and by that, it's almost like a family, which is why we're working together, because we have established that you're obviously brilliantly talented, you're dependable, you have integrity. I know you're going to show up, and that we can work together to bring a story to the world that really could change everything. And so this is something that we have to do, but then we have to get it out to the public.
Well, as in any other relationship, you have to be accountable. And when you're working in this space, in this creative space, you have to really be protective, and you have to make sure that everybody's safe, that everybody can give the most in a safe environment.
Well, a question. You have something called the Ambiology series, which was one of the first series of albums that I purchased of yours, so I just love them. And I've actually brought it with me to Denver. I play it in the hotel room. It really sets the pace and the mood and makes it seem more like home. And I was wondering, do you use your own music for healing or for that purpose, or you've heard it so much you just can't stand it?
Actually, that with some music, it's hard to listen to when you've gone over it many, many times. But that particular series for me was taking a journey from the mind to the heart. So I can't actually listen to that because I feel like it's a divine collaboration. Where it wasn't just me composing, but it was coming through me. So I do use it in private sessions with people, and I use it for sleeping challenges when I have a problem winding down, and lots of different things.
Did you use any of those techniques in the Shine on New World and especially in New World, in our CD that we did together?
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, again, it's working with entrainment, it's working with resonance, it's working with intention, and all of those, as you know, we both went through the process of creating that before every session, so
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes, actually we set an intention before each song and before we recorded to actually give a roadmap so that the songs would have a purpose. And so this is something that I know that you do with your work, and that there's an outline for that. And it's something that I admire in the both of you and all the artists for Shine on New World, is this through line of sincerity and commitment to your work, so it's not helter-skelter. So if you're just joining us today, I'd like to welcome you to the Heart of Art, and I'm your host, Elisa Brown. I'm here with two marvelous artists with whom I'm collaborating to create a new theatrical spectacular that will break down the barriers that separate us one from the other. Now, each of these brilliant artists, Grammy Award-winning producer Barry Goldstein and acclaimed choreographer Gabriel Chachnik, brings with them a body of work that are artistic recipes for peace, health, and well-being. And I want to talk to you, Gabriel, about a particular piece that you have created that, for me, is the other end of Shine on New World, which is a story of fiction. You've created a ballet that I think has the earmarks of a masterpiece.
Thank you.
And it's a true story. It's a familial story of disconnection, hope, and healing. But talking about this story won't do us any good. I asked you to bring a video clip, which you were kind enough to do. So could you tell us a little bit about what this story is, and then set up the clip, and then we'll watch the clip and talk about it.
Thank you for allowing me to share this. And this clip that you're going to see is a clip from a performance from a program called Learning Through Experience, presented at the Raritan Valley College in New Jersey, in collaboration with the Genocide and Holocaust Studies at the college. In New Jersey, it's mandatory for the students of middle school and high school to get a class on Holocaust and Genocide Studies. Yeah, it's very interesting. So I'm in collaboration with Perpi Margolis, the director of the Institute. She saw a piece of a workshop that I did in Manhattan last year, and she really came to me and said, Gabriel, you have to do an outreach program.
But this is a true story.
It's
you're using multimedia, you're narrating, you're using video.
Yeah, it's a true story. Yeah, I crafted a 45-minute outreach program. We had 1,500 high school students, hyperactive students at 9 a.m. And it was amazing, the response. You couldn't hear a fly. It's really phenomenal.
So what's the story?
Yeah, the story is about my uncle, and he escaped the ghetto in a town called Rono, where they were living, he and his family. I'm a second-generation child survivor.
What country is that?
That's the Ukraine now, but it used to be Poland. So after a very hard journey, they get to this house of this elderly couple, and they shelter them in their barn. My uncle digs a hole that was 6 feet by 9 feet by 6 feet high, and there they lived for a year and a half.
And there were 7 people living in this
It started
hole.
with 5 people, and then at the end they ended up with 7. So it's amazing how this story is. It's really, really personal to me. This has a lot to do, and it taught me a lot. It made me become a student again.
So this clip is just showing the feeling state which we talked about and what happened with these people. It's very powerful, and I know the video behind was created by Joseph Rodman. So we have this short clip, and then we'll talk about it.
Sure.
Enjoy. It's so powerful that it leaves you speechless. And when I saw this, clips of this, and I know that you actually filmed this segment, the backdrop, across the street from where you live, and you recreated the environment in which your uncle and 6 other people lived for a year and a half.
Yeah, what you saw here, the clip, was a collaboration, as we were talking about, of many people. The lighting by Yuri Nair, and like you said, Joseph Rockman, amazing filmmaker.
He's going to be our filmmaker for China New World.
He's phenomenal. The musician is Niv Ashkenazi. He's a Juilliard musician, one of the top musicians, violinists at the Juilliard School. With Itzhak Perlman. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes, he's incredible. And in the look, I was looking for a place to tape the film, because the film is going to narrate the literal story. It's a very complex story, and the dance is going to show the emotional aspect, the emotional space.
Well, this is a multimedia piece, much like Shine on New World, and when I saw it, I wanted that level of intention and the through line into the Shine on New World story. But what I'm seeing with this, I actually spoke to some of the dancers who participated in this filming, and they said it took them days to overcome the malaise and the sadness because it was so real.
Yeah, I'm a second generation of a child survivor. My mother also survived the Holocaust. And as I said before, this is a very personal story, and I wanted my dancers to really be part of it, to feel it as well. So the story begins when I met with my cousin at a family wedding. You know, it was a Jewish wedding, so we were all talking and talking and talking, and we haven't seen each other in a long time. And she told me that she was writing a book about her uncle. And I remembered him. He was this little guy, and he was very hunched over. And he told me that he was like that, hunched over, because he was in a hole for a year and a half. So right away I felt very emotional. And I was at an Orthodox Jewish wedding, so I couldn't show it so much. So I just felt very emotional. And right away I felt that I wanted to do something with it, and I wanted to really bring awareness. I'm overwhelmed as a student, as we all know, all the genocides that are still going on in the world.
Yes, this is such an important story because young people think that what's happening now, they don't have a connection to, this is just history repeating itself. And you're narrating this in your own voice, your uncle's voice, but it's what your uncle wrote, but are your uncle's words in your voice, yes? And
for this outreach program, for an educational outreach, I'm narrating them, but when we premiere the full work in Manhattan next fall, you will be singing in it.
Yes.
There's going to be actors. The voice of the characters are going to tell their stories. My uncle's stepsister gave birth. She was pregnant when they went into the hall. She was 2 months pregnant, and she gave birth in the house. In the house, they moved her to the house.
And what happened to the baby?
Well, she gave birth at the house. She moved back in the hall because they couldn't be seen. And then she could hear the baby cry, and one day she didn't, and the baby passed at 10 months old.
Well, this is an incredible journey, and I invite people to visit the Shine on New World website and check out transcendancegroup.com to learn more about it. This collaborative effort that I'm having with each of the team members is really spectacular, and I have a wonderful performance artist by the name of Marla Mace who's going to be joining us. I met Marla in China, and we were both invited over by the Friends of the United Nations to perform for World Peace Day. Marla will be joining us, and I'm also bringing in a wonderful sound and lighting guru, a gentleman by the name of Mark Smith, and they'll be joining us via Skype. Marla is in New York, and Mark is in Boston, so we're looking to see them in just a moment to join us for today's show. Here they are. Hi, Mark. Hi, Marla.
Hey.
It's so wonderful.
Okay, Elisa.
I know that the two of you are in the middle of production. Marla, you have a new album coming out, and Mark, you've got a production event that you do every year, and today's the big day. So I would like to talk to Marla first. Marla, you and I met in China, as I told the audience, and one of the things that I noticed that about your work, you've been compared to Patti Smith and Lou Reed, and when I watched you perform, I thought that doesn't even do you justice, because Marla's work is actually incomparable. When she gets on stage, she positively roars. The woman is mesmerizing. And when I saw her perform, I knew that I wanted her to play the protagonist of Alma, the sister in Shine On New World. And so I'd like to ask Marla, with all of the things that you're doing, you've got a record deal, you've got a big distribution with the Orchard, you're a writer, singer, songwriter, performance artist. What was it that drew you to the story of Shine On New World and the role of Alma? Because it's quite interesting. You're such a busy lady. I don't know what it is that drew you to this role. When are you going to find time to do that?
Right. Well, thank you, Lisa. Well, I am busy, but I always, I like to do things that inspire me or that I feel connected to. And, when I heard about the story, I just felt like this is something I want to do because it's, just a story about someone who doesn't feel, and feels disconnected, going through a journey where they, finally feel that they're connected and in community and inspire the, divine things. And that's, for me as an artist, that's an important message always, because I think I am always like, the existential problem is just kind of like, that we're just here and we don't feel this feeling of emptiness somewhere. Now, I feel that way myself, so I kind of related to that part of that character where it's like this empty hole that you keep trying to fill with a million different things in life and you can't, but then there's something bigger than that. And then the story, goes into what's bigger than that. And I like that, and that moved me.
Well, you have several causes that you actually promote, something with anorexia. You have a piece called Anorexia, and it promotes a program to help women love their bodies. And a lot of the work that you do talks about social injustice. You have a very edgy style about you. This is not going to be to that extent. You paint your face and you wear very thought-provoking costumes. You're really going to be playing a journalist who is a journalist who's going to be searching the world and kind of glum and a little out of sorts and disbelieving. So you started as a writer and then as an actress. So I just think it's wonderful that you're going to be helping me to write the script for this and to flesh it out, and then as an actress to go back to your roots. I know that you have an album that you've got coming out, and you're actually in the midst of production on that. So I really appreciate you joining us from New York and taking a break. Please thank Thomas Donker for loaning you out, and congratulations on your new deal with the Orchard.
No, thank you, Elisa.
Thank you. Now, Mark, one of the things that you do is you have a background in dance and musical theater, and also with sound and light, and you somehow or another take sound and light and make it a part of the show, that it's seamless and it's a part of the music, a part of the words, a part of the movement. So this has to do with frequency or something. So how do you do that?
It's involved with a lot of things. I mean, yes, music and lighting all are involved with frequencies of light. We all know that light is now being used for healing and various therapy, near-infrared therapy and blue therapy. Sound has been used for healing techniques for centuries, and it's really kind of catching up in this country and in other parts of the world now, whether it's tones or healing bowls or just listening to background sound and meditate to. The job of any lighting or sound designer is to use your craft to bring the story out to the people. As you were saying, the connection between people right now is an issue. We can talk about music connecting people, and a lot of people love their music. They have iPods, and they work off their iPhones and off of other devices. And yet, you can walk down New York or Boston through the streets, see 1,000 people all with earbuds in their ears looking straight at each other and not connecting at all because they're completely removed. So working with art and with theater in a way that brings people in together so that the experience they have helps connect them not only to the show itself but to each other in the process and maybe think about it is rather important. I do have a background in classical and modern dance as a performer as well as working with that in the lighting and sound sense. And you craft it in a way that brings people in. Sound is a very interesting medium to work with, especially in dance, because there's the music or the intention that comes out through the primary performance, but then you can take the sound and create surround fields behind the audience, to the sides, maybe overhead, do invisibly with sound what lighting does around the audience. And kind of pull them into the performance.
Well, we've talked about the importance of sound when we talk about with the lighting and what have you. Lighting can be a little off, but if the sound is off, people are turned off. And is that because we only perceive a certain amount in the light spectrum, but sound we have a larger spectrum of that we can hear?
Yes, and also I think sound is something that in our hearing that we're all aware of at all times, but we don't really consciously think about it. You can be in a restaurant or in your house or in an office, and there can be 50 different sounds going on around you at all times, but they're just kind of there. And the only time you really notice something is if it disappears. If you put a person into a chamber that's completely sealed, so there's no sound, it feels very odd and very off to them. You know, we're all used to having sound surrounding us. So to take sound and intentionally move it around someone to draw their attention to this point or that point, or maybe focus more on the performers, is kind of an art as well as a science. You
Well,
kind of have to
I am
listen.
so looking forward to working with you as we were fleshing out the script for Shine on New World and the sound and lighting design, and it's going to be really something special. And I appreciate that you've taken time today because I know you're running out to go to an event. And I think it's all snowy there in Boston, so I know you have to get an early start so you're not late. So I'd like to thank both you and Marla for joining us today, and I look forward to working with you in the future, and be sure to check out their websites to learn more about them. Now, I have created a short video, and it's about the collaboration process, and it's a video that I made with Gabriel and also Joseph Rodman as we prepared for the last piece that we're going to perform today, which is Butterfly. It's a beautiful dance piece from the opening act of Shine on New World. Butterfly was written by Barry Goldstein, and this is the first time the ghost of the mother appears on stage. This is a dream sequence in which the brother tells his sister, Alma, that the mother's love is eternal, and it crosses over the veil, and she's actually with them at all times, and she's been helping to guide the daughter throughout her life. So this is a beautiful beautiful video. You'll get to meet our wonderful filmmaker, Joseph Rodman, and to see how we prepared for this piece here in a here in a television studio versus on the stage, a theatrical stage. So enjoy this collaboration video. I'm here today with Gabriel Chojnik and Joseph Rodman. We've been rehearsing the dance piece for Butterfly, and we have we created a music video for Butterfly that was to promote the song, and then we have the dance piece for Butterfly that's for Shine on New World. Can you tell me what were you trying to achieve with each piece?
The video in Central Park was just to basically a homage to nature. So what else is there? That is this beautiful forest in the middle of this of here, the city, this cement city. So the choreography wanted to in a way transmit that, the sense of nature, the lightness.
The reasons, the fact that it is this oasis in the middle of a city of 8 million people, yes. The fact that we could find the spot to create such beauty and art. When I heard your music the first time, I was like, wow, I finally found a place that I've been looking at this spot in Central Park that I can shoot a video, and I was so happy.
We've had to change the concept for this performance and to make it more specific to Shine on New World. So what were you looking to achieve for that?
This show is it's a piece that is the relationship, that talks about the relationship between the mother and the daughter. The daughter cannot see the mother physically, but she can feel her. Mm-hmm. So every time there is a connection between you and her that is not seen but is felt. There is a very complete different feel from when a performer is actually on stage in a theater venue. Mm-hmm. So there you can feel the energy of a dancer, you can hear the dancer breathe. In a screen you can. So the choreography, it is adjusted slightly for television in which there is some emphasis in the arms and the hands and the facial expressions.
But the black box, I feel, is going to concentrate more on the choreography of the dance, everything. So the lighting is very important. It has to be really pinpointing to create the mood and the feel of the entire piece.
I spoke with Mark Smith about the colors that I wanted, and we had discussed it, and he had talked about doing a blue wash with a white breakup pattern. So I'm going to be wearing navy blue, and Jessica Black, who's the dancer, is going to be wearing pink and white. So I think that that's a good contrast with that kind of otherworldly, but she's in this world.
I totally agree. That'll add a great sensibility for the feel and movement of the piece. That really sounds beautiful.
Thank you for joining us today for this glimpse into the creation of the choreography for Butterfly. Butterfly is written by Barry Goldstein, choreography by Gabriel Chojnik, the dance by the beautiful dancer Jessica Black, and I am your singing ghost, Elisa Brown. Enjoy!
Wings sparkle in the night as you bring each soul your tapestries of light. When you find your heart, it's something you just know, and our dreams are seeds that we're here to sow. Butterfly, it was cold in that cocoon, so I pulled you out to dance under the moon, and your heart just shines so brilliantly, like a child's first breath. You set my spirit free. And rainbows of love will hold you endlessly, and you will always be a butterfly to me. Yes, you will always be a butterfly to me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's always such a pleasure to work with such a gifted young artist as Jessica Black and perform this choreography created by the brilliant Gabriel Chojnik to the spectacular transcendent music of Barry Goldstein. It's really a pleasure, and each member of the Shine on New World team brings this wealth of artistic ability to this piece, and they're all committed to creating this story that really has the potential to soften even the hardest human heart. Now, I would like to invite each of you to bring art into your story and into your life. And this will bring such joy into your life. So please think about what's the heart of your art. So I'd like to thank everybody for being here, all my wonderful guests. I'd like to thank Steve Toth, the producer and founder of Conscious Evolution Media, and all of you for joining me today for this wonderful premiere performance of The Heart of Art. And until we meet again, I'd like to invite you all to find the heart in your art, and may you do so, and may it blossom and grow. Thank you so much. It's wonderful. Thank you. Jessica?